My life with guitar. My life with guitar. Extirpa causa non oriti actio. I'm talking about the YouTube shooting, but I'm really glad you came and I hope you enjoy the guitar. Hi, welcome back to my channel and thank you for watching. Today I'm going to talk to you about some pretty heavy subjects. It's April 10th, 2018. It's not the happiest video today. My life with guitar. Hi, it's the 10th of April 2018. I hope you enjoy this. My life with guitar. My life with guitar. The YouTube shooter, we're going to be talking about the unfair treatment that women receive under sharia law, and why we don't want that here. And we're also going to be talking about domestic violence, and why you should pay more attention to the cycle of violence. It's actually not a theory, it's the real thing. And those are patterns in violence, domestic violence. And once you realize that this fantasy world that you're living in where the person loves you is actually just an emotional reaction, habitual reaction, and why you should want to change that. We're going to talk about the YouTube shoot. It's a horrible thing that happened at the YouTube head office where somebody went in and they shot it up. And I mean, that's really sad. It wasn't good for the YouTube community. And now I haven't been a YouTuber for too long, but I think what happened was really bad. She had some smart causes. Like, as you know, I'm an animal rights activist as well, and I'm continuing with my animal rights activism even despite the fact that she did that in the name of animal rights. I just want to tell you that I think what happened was wrong, and that there are other ways to achieve more respect for animals. I don't know whether or not she was abused by the world's bias against women. Not just the fact that this character had shot up the YouTube headquarters, but also because the difficulties of being a woman and why we don't want Sharia law. It's important that we don't practice Sharia law. Some things that, some of the laws that apply and the biased treatment that women get, and we don't want them. We don't want this in our country. We don't want them to treat us badly all the time. Violence, pretty severe, but the women in Canada have worked really hard. The women in North America have worked so hard to be treated well. And we have laws of equality, human rights, and whatnot. And we're disgusted. We do not want men around us who think that you should treat women unequally, and we don't want them in our country. Looking at Sharia laws the other day, And we were so disgusted. Violence, 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 violence. Women in Canada and in the States and all of the Western world, we fought for a long time to get our freedoms. We have the freedoms of all the human rights, and we do not want to impose the philosophies and the ideas and the values of sharia law, because that's not fair, okay? And we don't want them. We don't want the sharia law in Canada, and we don't want to have to contend with that. We don't want the epidemic of domestic violence. If you do happen to be in that violence epidemic, then I would recommend you learn more about the cycle of violence, because there are predictable patterns which can be stopped. However, if you get too far, it's like there are different emotions in a circle, and they lead from one emotion to another emotion, and some of them are really good feelings. So when you get to that point in the cycle, then you start to think, oh, I love this person, this is my partner, but it's not your partner, right? Because then you're in denial, and you're living in this fantasy, not true world where you think that this person loves you, or whatever the meaning. All sorts of different feelings. You want to go back to the person, you want to convince the person to go back to you. You can be all confused with different types of dependence that you have. Maybe you share property or children, or you have an image in society that you don't want to necessarily destroy, because what if you do go back and you know the truth? If you feel guilt or anger, if you feel like you're living in a fantasy world and then it explodes, and if you don't understand, like, why was this guy so nice today and give me all these presents, I think he really does love me, but I've got these scars and I needed to hide it because this is love is pain, it's not, okay? Violence and control, to what it feels like to be a woman in general, with being told you have to be compromising your personal values to be lower than your controlling, domestically violent partner, and how to get out of that. We're going to talk about the cycle of violence a little bit. Is torn between human rights, like the right to express yourself, which is something I feel as a YouTuber. I know I'm a YouTuber who also stands up for freedom. Oh yay, we're in the double digits. So let's celebrate the 10th video, my 10th YouTube video in 3 months. It must be really, really hard to find reasons why you're with that person in the first place. You might have children, you might have shared bank accounts, it might be because of your culture, it might be because you want to marry them because of status, or for just because you're beat down so bad and you don't want to. Maybe you don't want to quit leaving. It could be that simple, or her. But the thing is that I don't blame you for having reasons to be with an abusive, violent person. I do think that you should leave him, but you have to understand, and learning about the cycle of violence will actually help you understand why you're behaving this way. and it's really hard to be in that position, and it's the reality of the world we live in, and I just wanted to bring to your attention that you can get out of it, and if you keep going back, I don't blame you either, okay? Because I think the average is 7 times somebody goes. Reorganize your life if you're in the cycle of violence, and I also suggest that you read up on what is the cycle of violence, because the feelings that you're having in a domestic violent relationship are not necessarily explicable, which is the reason why you keep going back and why it's not necessarily resolved. And that's the same for both partners in the problem. So yeah, I think that you should read up on this cycle of violence. It's not your fault if you keep going back, because it's a real psychological thing, but it's complicated to explain why do you keep going back. So what you want to do, I do not recommend calling the police either, because that might put any children who are involved into danger. Okay, because the child protection system is oftentimes more dangerous to children than the original situation. So, because people make a lot of money off of the child protection system, and it's just not something that I believe in. I don't. What happened at the YouTube headquarters was very, very, very wrong. I'm here at the NAC. It's really sweet. They gave me this room where I could practice guitar, and I could film this video. They know I can hang out here all day. It's great. There's the Parliament buildings, and I mean, there's the War Memorial, and it's this really nice place. This is a safe place. It's open to the public. I can't believe it's not completely crowded, because it's like really, really nice in here, and it's warm. It's cold out there, but it's warm here. So yeah. It's an open public space where you can just go and practice your guitar. My life with guitar. Extirpa causa non oriti actio. I'm talking about the YouTube shooting. When I was in law school, I took a course in Arab pop culture, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite classes. I'm very pro-Arab pop culture. I wrote an essay on Mecca Cola. It's like the religiously correct version of Coca-Cola. But I'm really glad you came, and I hope you enjoy the guitar.